everyone out there in Banjo Land, Mike Heading here. Today I've got a right hand lesson for you. We're going to go over the basic 5 techniques you need to be able to play Scruggs style banjo. So we're going to go over the alternating thumb roll, the forward roll, the reverse roll, the forward reverse roll, and the pinch. I'm going to break them all down note for note and then show you a whole bunch of variations that are going to get your fingers moving around on the different strings, get you really working, again, so you know which strings are hitting which finger and you're playing the rolls correctly. I'm also going to show you a bunch of kind of basic left hand stuff you can do to add to make it a little bit more difficult once you've got the basic rolls down. Alright, hope you enjoy. Here's the basic right hand workout. Alright, so let's go over some of the basic rolls you need to play Scruggs style banjo. And I'm going to give you some basic rules to start with that are really going to help you kind of maintain some good accuracy with your right hand. And we'll break these rules in the future, but for now these rules are really going to help us develop good technique. So our right hand rules are, we're going to keep our middle finger exclusively on the first string for this type of banjo playing. And like I said, we'll break these rules in the future, but for now, let's stick with these rules. So our middle finger is just going to play on the first string. Our index finger is going to play on the second string or the third string. So our index finger is going to move between those two strings. Second and third string. Our thumb's going to do the most movement. The thumb is going to take over the bottom 4 strings. So you got the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string. So your thumb's going to be moving around the most. You've got 4 strings with your thumb, and then 2nd and 3rd with your index finger, and your middle finger is going to stay up on the 1st string. Okay, so let's keep those rules for now, and those are really going to help you, again, develop good technique, and as you get more advanced, you can break out of those rules, but let's stick with those for now. Okay, so let's go over the very first roll. This is probably the easiest one, especially if you come from a guitar background. This is called the alternating thumb roll. So the pattern is T, I, T, M. And T stands for thumb, I is index, and M is middle. So let's just do it on the top 3 strings. So I'm doing T, I, T, M. And if you're a beginner, keep your thumb out front. Make sure your right hand fingers aren't running into each other. Give each finger its own kind of lane to play the strings. Remember, your thumb is going down and your other fingers are picking up. So T, I, T, M. So that's called the alternating thumb roll. So 2 of those rolls makes up 1 measure. Okay, so that's measure 1. So let's do it as many times as you need to. You loop it as many times. It might take you a while, so don't worry. Take these really slow. And I'm just staying on the top 3 strings for now. Okay, so let's look at measure 2. Now I'm gonna alternate the strings. I'm gonna keep the same picking pattern. This is really important. I'm still going T, I, T, M. Except I'm now changing strings. Let's look at measure 2. I'm still doing T, I, T, M. That's really important because if you think of it as a finger combination, T, I, T, M, then we really only have to remember 5 rolls, and we don't have to remember all these different strings and what strings does this work on. Anytime we're doing T, I, T, M, just think of that as the alternating thumb roll. So look at number 2, measure 2. It's a little bit more challenging than measure 1 because your thumb has to move. All your other fingers are doing the same thing. Okay, let's look at measure 3. Now our thumb's going to even move more. Everything else is the same. You know, and loop these as many times as you need to. So don't worry about if I'm going a little bit fast, but again, take as many times as you need to on each measure. So let's do measure 3 a few more times. Still T, I, T, M. Measure 17, really common forward roll, starting with TM. and then TIM twice. That's a great backup lick. Here's 18, just a variation on that. So we're always doing TIM twice and then 2 notes. So let's look at 19. Start with the 4th string. That one's really getting your fingers moving around. Follow the right hand fingerings below the tab really closely there. TIM twice. TIM. And then TI. Let's look at measure 20, just another exercise. Your thumb's kind of moving down the strings that time. You're going 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string. Your index finger's moving between the 2nd and 3rd string there. So a lot of movement with your right hand. Again, make sure you're playing all the notes really evenly. Let's look at measure 21. This time our thumb's going to come down and start it on the 2nd string. So we're still doing TM and then TIM twice. That's a good one to loop. Thumb comes down. These are great warm-up exercises. These are great for practicing your speed. Try and crank up the speed a little bit when you get it down. Good practice. Okay, let's look at measure 22, moving around a little bit more. Then your thumb comes down at the end. So TIM twice. So again, think of these as finger patterns. Don't worry too much about the strings. Notice on all those rolls, we're using more or less the same right hand finger pattern, even though we're changing strings and doing a lot of different string movements. Think of that as the same roll. It's just going to be so much less to remember. Okay? Let's look at measure 39. This is a very common one. Start with a forward roll. This time we're going to hit our note. It's going to be our 5th string. And then we go backwards. And then one more middle. So that's 39. That's one you're definitely going to want to know. Let's look at 40, variation on that. Same right hand fingerings, just different strings. '41, same idea, just different strings. I use the forward reverse roll all the time. It's one for me that feels really comfortable. I use it a lot in backup, in leads and slides, and so it's one I use all the time. Let's look at measure 42, same idea, just different strings. This time we're ending with an index. So it's TIM, 5th string, MIT, and then one more I. Forward reverse. It's good practice. Get your fingers moving around. This time we're starting with the forward roll, 5th string, backwards roll, and then ending with I. 43 is, again, I'm kind of intentionally making you move around the strings quite a bit there to really work your fingers. Really find those strings. Okay, so this last technique's not really a roll technically, but it's still something that's used all the time in Scruggs style banjo. It's called the pinch. So anytime you play kind of 2 strings at once, you can call that a pinch. So let's look at measure 50. So we're going to start on the top 3 strings again, just like we've always done. We're We're going to do our thumb on the 3rd string, and then we're going to pinch strings 3 and 1. So I did thumb and middle, I pinched them at the same time. And then I did thumb, and then pinch. So thumb, pinch. Same with your rolls, try and keep them all the same volume. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So these ones are quarter notes, not eighth notes. So with pinches, we're going to use 4 pinches or a thumb and a pinch, 2 of those per measure. So we don't need 8 notes for this type of technique because they're not eighth notes. So the basic rolls we've been doing were eighth notes. So we needed 8 eighth notes per measure. The pinches are what are called quarter notes. So quarter is 4. So we need 4 pinches or moves per measure. So a thumb is 1, a pinch is 2, thumb 3, 4. So let's look at some variations on that. So 51 is, a lot of times you'll pinch the outside string. So I'll do thumb on the 3rd string, and then I'll pinch the outside strings. And then thumb on the 3rd string, and then pinch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It just takes some practice to get them to pinch at the same time, you know, so you don't want to hear, you know, you really got to get them going at the same time. Just take some practice. Let's look at measure 52. Another common one is changing the thumb up. So you do thumb on the 3rd string and then pinch, and then thumb on the 4th string and pinch. That's a really common backup move. Again, just think of it as a pinch. 53, thumb all the way up to the 2nd string. That's a good one. Your thumb is just moving around there. So you got thumb, pinch, down to the 3rd string, pinch, going into 54, down into the 4th string, pinch, back to 3rd string. You're really moving your thumb around there. So let's do 53 and 54 together.